Hi there and welcome to the class Pattern Paper. I'm happy you're joining me on this wonderful adventure. In this first video, I will tell you a bit more about the class and I will introduce myself. Well, in this class, you're going to design patterns in a few simple steps with a minimum of material. You will see that you will get easily into the flow by just creating patterns with some basic shapes like lines, circles, ovals, and that the possibilities are endlessly. And a warning, creating patterns is very addictive. Let me tell you a bit more about myself. I'm Loes, or Marloes, and I'm a Dutch painter and mixed media artist, and I'm really thrilled by patterns, like you can see on the painting in the background. And also in the angel paintings I incorporated patterns. This is another piece that I've created for the class pattern playing. And I recently found out that I really love art journaling. So this is how you can use your patterns as well. Now I'm going to tell you how this class is designed. We will talk about the materials that you need, and I'm going to tell you that isn't much. This is, as we call it, let's say a dry class. So we don't use paint and just some markers, pens, maybe pencils or, well, pastels, but we're not going to use acrylics or something. So it will be a very easy, accessible course, which you can do on your kitchen at your kitchen table. Only in the last lessons you will maybe use a gel medium or a glue, but you could also use a glue stick, which everyone has at home. I'm going to tell you how I mostly find my inspiration, so that you will get a little in the flow already. And then we are going to design our patterns in a few simple steps. Finally, I will dedicate a video to all the purposes of how to use your pattern paper. And that can be, like I show in one of the bonus lessons, how to create your own gift wrapping paper and how you can use it for your art journal. So I hope you really enjoy this class, and let's move on to the next lesson. Now we'll be chatting about all the things that you need for this class. As I said, we keep it simple as can be. We start with just a few materials, and it's a dry class, so we don't use paint. Later on, when you have more experience with creating the patterns themselves, you can use paint or more advanced techniques. But now we start with just some markers and some pens. Another important thing is that I don't buy a lot of things for this class, and it's good to recycle what you have. For example, this is the paper that I'll be using for this class. It's all crafty paper, so it's the brown, cotton colored paper, and they're all different things. And I got them from packages. It's sometimes the things that you found in a shoebox or a present, or when you have ordered something online and it's packed with that. And I really love the variety of craft paper that is available. You can buy it, but you don't need to. You can use simply what you have. Also, I have created some labels. The colors that I'm going to be using are green and orange. So I would love to have a green accent in my label as well, to give it a bit of, difference. Another thing that you feel you might need is just an A4 sheet to test your colors. What they look like when you are working on white is different from the use when you have it on craft paper. So that's something you need probably to find out first. And well, I really like it when you have something to just get into the flow and doodle a bit. Maybe you have to call a friend and you just chat with a friend, and in the meanwhile you're drawing something. I created them myself, one for circles, one for stripes, and one combined. So you can print this as often as you want, and you can use it over and over again to find new patterns that you can explore with. I really like to work on a cutting mat or a placemat. Maybe you prefer to work on a magazine or a newspaper. This table is not flat, so I want to have a flat surface to work on. For the last 2 lessons in this class, I use a gel medium. This is a matte, and it's just what you prefer to work with. I really love the matte, also because this is matte. Well, you can check it out because it has 2 sides. So you can decide, I love to work on the glossy thing. Then you can use the gloss medium as well. This is just glue. And especially when you work with thicker paper or maybe fabric, you could also use the extra heavy gel medium. These are quite expensive, so you could simply work with a glue stick or whatever you have at home. I used to have a wallpaper glue as well to work with, and that's a great thing to do. But I discovered that many people couldn't buy that in their stores. So that's why I recommend the gel medium, because you can use it for many purposes as well. So I will tell you a bit more about the pens and markers that I'll be using. I have a range of colors, and I have a black and white. Now, what's very important that you have at least 3 things that you use, and I prefer that you work with the lightest shade, a middle tone, and the darkest tone. So you have 3 different things that you can work with throughout the pattern. What also works very interesting is that you have something with a thicker nib, like this Posca marker, Posca pen. You see it's very thick, and I will show it on a dark piece of paper label. I also have just a big pen, that is my darkest, and you see I won't do it here because it's not visible, but both of these are, if I work on craft paper, I will show it to you, they're both visible and they are opaque. These are twin markers and Copic markers, and all of these are not opaque, so they're transparent, they're alcohol markers. So if I use, for example, this one, putty, well, it will be visible on this, but if I work on this darker green, it will look like this. Well, I can see it, but it's not really outstanding. So, and if I use it on paper, it's like this. Now, you see that I am a lover of greens, and why I have chosen one red one, it's because that's giving an extra contrast. So if you choose, for example, blue, you could look at the color wheel. It's in theory. The color wheel says if you use yellow, you could use purple as an opposite color. And if you use green, well, like I've done, then red will be the opposite color. Also pink will do fine, or a bit in the direction of purple or a bit in the direction of orange. Then you will have contrast. You could also see that in the painting. And I use a very brown range of orange, but it is orange and it's really matching with the green blue. Look like this. Brown is just a little darker. So I have also in my greens, I have different shades. My lightest is putty, like I've shown you here. But I have another putty, it's the Copic marker. And that's looking like this. So this is lighter one than that one, I didn't know that. This is my middle green, and this is my darkest green. And this is my red. So I think this will be a very good color combination. You can also do some things, see differences between this nib, which is a hard nib. This is more like a brush nib, so it's thicker, but if I press it harder, then it will even be thicker. This is with all the twin markers, and it's also when you use the sketch or the Chow Copic. But I have the basic Copics, the regular, and these all have a hard nib or a thin nib, I don't know how it's called, and a broad one. And the broad one looks like this. I could, if I have it flat, but I could also use it like this, and then you have a bit of a thicker line. If you have to fill in a large space, then you see you can easily use this. Well, the differences between Copic and twin markers. This Copic is often used, you can see that, it's my favorite color. These ones are very cheap. I bought them at the dollar store, and well, I think you have 50 from these, and then you have maybe 5 or 6 from these. So that's the difference in price. These have, when they're empty and you can't refill them, so you have to throw them away. Another thing is, this one is bronze green, 42. I have another bronze green and it's totally another color. Also, the thing on the outside lies. So this is not exactly the color that is in the marker itself. When you buy Copics, then you have exactly the same color that's here on the outside. And if I buy another Copic marker, it's exactly the same. It's identical. And if I buy the same color in 10 years from now, it will be the same color. It will always be the same. So it's very, I can rely on the colors and I can refill them. So that's a good thing. Now, for this purpose, working on paper or craft paper, it is okay to use Copics. I use Copics as well on my paintings, but there are many people who say, well, they're so expensive, I don't want to use them. You could also buy these ones. It's no problem at all. If you feel like, the colors, I don't mind. So finally, what I want to mention about the Copic markers is that they're very nice and they are much more sustainable than the twin markers. And that's because they are refillable, but also the nibs, you can get them out and change them, and you can buy new nibs. So when this is dried out, you can simply buy another one and you don't have to throw away this plastic. These ones are empty very soon, so you have to throw them away. It's not really environmental friendly, so If you want to try them out, buy these and they're totally fine. And also when you work with children or grandchildren, it's perfect when you have these. And these one, well, I prefer them. Last thing that I want to say about the Posca marker, well, when you work on acrylic like me, I really adore these ones because they are opaque, and these ones are transparent, so they're not often that visible on paint, and they're not meant for that as well. But I love the color palette so much more than the Posca. There are just a few colors. There are more colors coming each year, but well, I really love these ones. They're still my favorites. So that's just a personal choice. Another thing is when you work with them, many people are working on marker paper, and which I love. There's a little plastic underneath, so the ink will not absorb, the paper will not absorb all the ink. Many people say when you use it on normal paper, they are getting empty very soon. And well, I don't find that a problem because I have the refills, but I can understand that. I don't like working on marker paper because I want to apply it in a book or on a painting, and I don't like marker paper on my paintings. So that's why I'm using just normal paper. And as I said, I love the effect on craft paper. It will be different if I work on this craft paper or on the darker thing, but we will experiment that later on when we are creating our patterns. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a bit more about how to get into the painting flow and how to get the vibe and find some inspiration. You don't have to go far. You can simply look in your home, and if you have stuff with patterns, for example, pillows or textiles, maybe you have just some rags with patterns on it that you find inspiring, and those don't have to be very difficult. Those are already a bit difficult, but you could keep it very simple like this one. And of course you can look in your own wardrobe. For example, this dress is, well, I really love it if I would do something with botanicals. Another thing that I highly recommend is that you have a little walk. A little 10-minute walk, you don't have to go far, and just see what colors appeal to you, which shapes are coming back each time. Maybe you already see some repetition, which could be a pattern. And those can be tiles, or maybe you want to go to a church or an old building that is using, well, there you can find a lot of decorative patterns in that, like flowers, trees, just abstract decorations. It could be very inspiring. For me, shopping always works. If I look for new clothes, I always look at the patterns. You could also go to interior or decoration store and you will find wallpaper there, or maybe vases or other textiles with patterns on it. And last but not least, you could also browse through magazines or art books. One of my favorite magazines is Flow magazine, and they have editions for paper lovers, which is brilliant. I don't use the patterns for in my paintings because I want to have my own style, but it can be very inspiring to browse through the books just to see for the colors which ones I like. Oh, this is package paper, wrapping paper, which I liked, with a very simple pattern. And here I found something, I really love this color, and well, the patterns are quite difficult, but it is just an inspiration to browse through such a book. And well, I really love how they promote artists, and well, this is a lovely thing to use and to get inspiration from. I've also got this book with Japanese prints, And you can already see on the cover that there are beautiful patterns on the clothes. And what I really love is how the patterns are going through the clothes, and they are, well, yeah, they are changing because she held her armband. And here as well you can see the pattern shows how the dress is falling, and I really love that aspect. I can already spot 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns here, and here also a lot of patterns, so you could simply copy them or make them a bit your own. Gustav Klimt is really an inspiring artist for me when it comes to patterns. I made a whole series of the ochre gold patterns that he uses. You could simply look at a painting and, well, search for patterns that you love. And, well, there's something about copying that I want to tell you. It's something else to literally copy it or to get some inspiration. Mostly I put this all away before I'm getting started. This is just inspiration. So I'm looking at the colors, I'm just finding my way in, and I'm just exploring, and I'm finding out what I love. Then I put all those things away, and, well, there might be something stayed in my unconsciousness, and that is the thing that I'm going to be using in my next phase, the designing of the patterns. So in this video I will be making my patterns with just circles and ovals. Now it's very important that you prepare yourself already, because you don't want to get new things when you are already in the flow. I already have my glass of water, I have my markers, and I have my craft paper, which I cut in different various sizes, just to challenge myself so I can start at once. 2 more important things. If you work with a Copic marker, the paper absorbs it and it goes through the paper. So you really need something on your table. Another very important thing is that when you use the Posca marker, it will be the last thing that you'll be using. So for example, if I draw a circle with the Posca and I wait a little because it's still wet, at first sight you see this is working, but if you compare it with this one, it's getting lighter. So you see the Posca pen rejects the Copic, or twin marker in this case. So you should use this as the final touch of your pattern and not go over it with a twin or Copic marker again. Before we're getting started, let's talk about the definition of a pattern. Usually repeating artistic or decorative design. So repeating, that's what we're going to do. So step 1 is drawing circles repeatedly in a column, and then another row of them, and you could do that alternately or on the same height. I did alternately, and you see that the ink is already absorbing. I have just a small piece of paper, so here has to be a half one, and here as well. Maybe here, another one, and here, and here. So, and now I go to the next step, and that's draw something in your circle that is already there in another color. So, well, what shall I choose? I choose for this one, the darkest one. I draw another circle in it, and I can use the same nib. I want to work precisely. You see that my putty is not really visible, but I like the effect. And now step 3 is draw something on the outside of the circle. So, well, let's keep it to ovals and circles still. I'm going to work with my olive. And I just draw a larger oval and one small circle on the left, one small circle on the right of it. A bit like cat paws. So like this. And then step 4 is add something in a color that you haven't used yet, if there is still some space. Well, I haven't used white, but I also didn't use the red one, and I think both are very important. So I will add a little oval here on each side of the circle. You see, there's no need to copy anything because there are plenty of possibilities. Now, once more, I'm going to add something in the middle with the white, and then you can see the lovely effect of the Posca marker because it's overlapping my inky thing. So just circles and ovals, and this is my very first result. I wrote it down stepwise, but you don't need to hold on to it. It's just to give you an idea what you could do and what you could do next. But you can vary and you can change the order. But start with circles, it's always step 1. I'm going to be showing you some more designs, and what maybe helps you is that you print out this sheet and you simply design some things while you're calling someone, like I already said. And I made them for circles, stripes, and for the combinations, but well, it really helped me to keep me going. So I will show you my next designs. It's so pretty, it's so pretty. So let's move on with the stripes or lines. And remember that the Copic nibs or twin marker nibs are different, so you could use that in this. I will take a lighter piece of paper to show you what I mean. I take a Copic marker because it's more visible. I use now the thick, and I make the lines vertically, and you see that I'm not using the same distance. That's also the case with the circles. I didn't count all the circles that I had. I found it more important to have it organically. And in this case, well, now in the next step, in step 2, you add a new line, but with a various nib. So I put it close to my first line. Oh, I start in the middle. That's not always a good idea, but in this case, it doesn't matter. So here I have already a lovely piece of wallpaper. And you know, there's a difference between a static pattern and a dynamical pattern. And I will show you more about that later. This isn't static at all because it's all. And now I'm going to add new stripes in another direction. That is step 3. So for example, this is all vertical. I should go for horizontal lines here. And I could say I go on with this forever, but I just take some space and move on here. And actually what I've done now is make this with exactly the same as this. So maybe that's not that interesting, but well, we see what will be happening next. So step 4 is add little stripes or waves to make the pattern more interesting. So what I could do is, I haven't used my white, so what I could do is make some stripes with white. And I could also overlap something. Like this. So I'm drawing lines again, and I could add some lines at the sides. I don't know if this is standing out, but we will see. I think it would be interesting. And I haven't used my big pen yet, so I will do that right now. And this is one of the things that I love. I call them grain. So I'm making diagonal lines like a feather or like grain, or whatever you call it. Fishbone, skeleton. And what makes it interesting maybe is to put some color things in it. So now I see that the putty isn't really outstanding. So I will do another layer of that, and you will see that the more I will overlap it, the darker the color will become. And I don't care that the other things that I made olive green are overlapped by this putty once more. And now I'm going to overlap. I'm doing the same with my bronze green. And I'm going to show you what happens when it's still wet. And I'm very fast, and I'm going to put another layer of putty on one side. And I'm going to have it throughout the work. So I'm going to create a layer of depth here in my pattern. And that's wonderful if you use twin markers or Copic markers. You can blend them easily. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I've taken a piece of paper that won't absorb that much. And I will do the same here. So I have them still alternately, one by one. So it's becoming very interesting, a layered pattern. I have to work fast because I want to mix up two colors. So now I put another layer of the bronze green, and it has to be wet to mix it up with the putty. You see, I'm taking a bit of the darkest color with my lighter color. And you see that this is a really wonderful thing. I only see that it looks like I see I see my movement. So maybe I want to do it a bit like this, so it goes with the direction of the grain or fish thing. I will do it here as well. And I'll leave the other one as it is. And I could simply add some little white accents, but I want to be careful with this one. I just do it here. Oh, that one is wrong. I wonder what happens if I let it go, but I keep it this way. I love it. Yeah. Well, I could continue the white here and I could add a pink accent, but I think this one is already such a layered piece that I won't do anything about it. I also see and feel that it has absorbed already a lot of ink, so well, I don't think the paper can handle anymore. So what I do now is I show you some more patterns, and then in the next video I'm going to combine the circle patterns and the line patterns. So you see my pattern's getting more and more advanced, and I am even thinking about adding another tool, and that's my Signal pen, and it's a white pen. And what you see in this pattern is that I really have used the stripes of the craft paper, and I will do that even more when I'm using that Signal pen. And I want still a bit of the craft paper visible. You see, I now used the curls, the waves-like shape, and I am already a bit combining everything. So I think this will be my last pattern with stripes and lines, and I will mix the circles and the lines in the next video. I made a mistake here because here I started in the blank part and I stopped it to create some depth, but here I started the other way around. So I think I can only solve that by making it all equal, unless I wanted to make a dynamic pattern. But I think this is better. And now go on with the stripes. I like it better this way. So let's move on to combining circles and stripes. In the two previous lessons, you created two types of patterns, the stripe patterns and the circle patterns. The magic will truly start when you combine these two, or maybe even more variations. So, in this video, I'll be showing you how I work with circles, stripes, lines and dots. So what we've done so far is creating circle patterns, patterns with lines and stripes, and the combined ones. So those are having ovals or circles and lines. And what I want to add as an extra thing is that there is a difference. Those are all static patterns, so they're all repeating themselves all over again. But sometimes you have a pattern which is changing. For example, we look at the Dutch Escher, and those things are very graphical, but here you see the birds are changing into fishes along the way. Well, these are very hard things to make, of course, but we can give it a funny switch by just taking a look at the distance of the birds. It's changing. So that's something I feel inspired by, and that's something that I want to do in this class. Here there are birds changing into frogs, so on and on. Something is changing. We are not working on figurative things, but we can use this to make a dynamic pattern. So I'm starting with some small circles, and then they're getting bigger. And they're not only getting bigger, also the distance is getting, they're further away from each other. And also I start with dots around the circle, and they're small, but the bigger the circle becomes, the thicker and the more dots will be around that circle. So maybe now it's time to work with my Posca pen. But let's see how this will go. So these kind of patterns are giving you a lot more direction, and it's giving a lot of excitement to the pattern. So this is it. So these are all my results, and I'm very happy with those, and it was very unexpected for me as well. From the circles, this is completely new. This is something that I've never done before. This is one of my favorites, and also I love this one. And from the stripes and lines, I am really a huge fan of this one because it's having so much depth, and I also like it from this one. From the combined ones, I really love this one and that one because they are very detailed. And well, I discovered that I really got into the flow already here, and they began to, yeah, they were more advanced and detailed. So I really loved working with the uniball and with, well, some smaller details like the big pen, and well, I really love that. So let's move on to the next part. What are we now going to do with these ones? So in this video, I will show you the purposes. What can you do with your just created patterns? The first thing what you could do is very simple. Create some envelopes. This is something that I already made, so I can simply add parts of it to the envelope and I can make a card for someone. It's very personal. I can make a message for them, personally written. So that's something that I could do with it. Another thing that I could do, and that's something that I will be showing you in the next video, is how to create your own wrapping paper using these patterns. So this is my gift, and I thought it would be nice to have in the same style my package paper, the same colors, well, accidentally the same colors. And I'm going to show you how I will be doing that. I could also, this is a crafty paper bag that I got from the delivery. We delivered some food, which we normally don't do, but I saw it's craft paper, so that's very nice. So that's another option, make your own bag. Another thing that you could do is make a cover for a book or a magazine, or this is a dream diary. So all my dreams are written down here. And I thought, oh, it's craft paper, so it would be lovely to have it here. And these are just some options. This is a folder, and I was thinking like, this could also be decorated with patterns. And I found my brush box, and I was thinking this would be nice to pimp too. So I don't know if I have enough paper. I won't show you everything, but the wrapping paper I'm going to show you, and I will show you also how to use it in your art journal. How to use it? Well, this is a way that you could use it. I have here a card with patterns on it, and I added it to this page. I made them at the same time actually. I use exactly the same colors, and this is more like a flower, larger design with, it's not really a pattern because things are not repeating, but the colors are exactly the same as here. So it's very, very, very cohesive. So this is just one page in my journal, and I will show you this after I've done the wrapping paper. Another thing that you could do is add it to a mixed media piece. For example, an angel. In this piece I added the patterns for the dress, and I also used them for a background. And this is the one that I've already shown you. This is from the pattern playing class, and it was really lovely to do this, and it's also visible in the work behind me, how I incorporate the things in a painting. So that is almost the final option, because sometimes you don't want to use all. Sometimes pieces are just leftovers and you won't use them this time, but they can be inspiring for a next project. I have this special folder to take with me, and when I want to start projects, I have various color combinations. So this is the green-blue section, this is the orange thing. And then we go over to brown and red. I even have some real leaves in it. I have some yellow, so I think the ones that I've made today, they will be here somewhere in this folder. Then we go over to blue, and well, in the back there are just some things that I want to have. So in this folder I have all my leftover pieces, and sometimes you feel like a piece is so inspiring, and for that purpose I have an extra folder, or actually it's a kind of art journal or a sketchbook, and I will show you that too. This is my book of inspiration. In this book I keep all the things that I want to, well, look at a moment that I feel not that inspired. It's also a book in which I show my, well, maybe improvements. I feel like I have something new. I do it in this book. I keep it in this book. So these are actually my first patterns that I created with Copic markers, and these were used for my first angels that I created in this way. And even I had saved, I have kept some things that the children have made in the lessons that I gave to them about creating an angel. Well, there are a lot of other things, but a lot of patterns. This is actually how I started my patterns. So I really love this book. What I don't love about it is that I can't use these again, but I have them as an example, so I can just copy them for new projects. And I find them too beautiful to use for. Now it's going over to other projects. And these are the patterns that I made in, well, I think it's 2019 or something. So I try to keep them all. So it's very funny. Does something look familiar? Okay, so these are all the things that I do with patterns, but I think the uses are endlessly, just like creating them. So if you have any idea what to do with them, something that I haven't said yet, please write it down in the comments below, because I really want to hear, and maybe we can inspire each other. This is a set of cards, a series of flowers that I created last year, and well, I want to give them to my mother tomorrow. So it will be very nice to pack them in a unique way, a very original way, with my own package paper. What I do first is just pack it in already a bit, because when I am packing it in and I am already pasting my my patterns on this part, well, it can be that the glue goes through this thin paper, and then the glue will all be on the gift. So that's not something that I really want, because, well, my gift is my gift and I don't want glue on it. So what I do, I pack it in the first place, just to have the shape already from the package that I want to have. And this last part, I fold it, but I will do that when everything is dried. So I just have this package, and well, what I like in most cases is that I have a couple of different things that I can add. As I said, I have 2 jars of gel medium, the extra heavy and the normal, and I have chosen for the matte version. You also have a glossy version, but this is all kind of matte, so I really prefer that. And from this one I have put something in a smaller jar, just to make it more handy, because otherwise my hand will be filled with gel medium. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore a bit. Which ones will I be using? If I do it like this, it will go to the back. Well, I think this is a perfect first thing to do. And then I could add a little thing here. It won't be very difficult to make this. I really love to tear things when I'm working on a painting or a mixed media art piece. But for this, I like it to be, well, a little straight. So I simply put all the gel on this. And if I want to protect my table, so, because you can't remove those gel medium from either your clothes and also not from your table. And what I discovered recently is that my phone is behaving weird when there's gel medium on it. It's sometimes not opening apps anymore, and the touchscreen isn't working at all. So I think this is okay because it's going to the end of the package envelope, how do you call it? Wrapping paper. So I think this is, I can live with this. This is already a great thing. What am I going to add? I could add a little something like this. What I love is that this is a lighter thing. So maybe I have to add something dark. I don't want to add everything. Oh, maybe I want to add the label. Write down her name on it. I don't know. What are some basic rules is make it different to other things that you add. So this is light and it's having circle shapes. This is also circle shapes, but it's green. It's dark green at the back. So this could be interesting, but also the size is different. We should play the game set. Then you know what I mean. I really love this part, but it's quite big. It's quite large. So I feel like I'm not going to use that for now. And sometimes you just have to see. Well, these are all kind of circle shapes. What else do we have? This is a darker thing. But the direction is also vertical, so that could be very balanced. I could also do it like this. That's a very nice option. And if I do it like, I end it here, how will it look like? Oh no, that's not possible. No. So this is actually too short. It's not. So I will just look if I have something else. And this is something that I don't want to use. I think this is the same. I really love this one. Oh, this one could also be interesting. So finally I made a choice, and what am I going to do? I want to have it cut because it's not long enough, because I want to have it like a real present and I want to cover it like this, and I want another piece to continue it on this side. So let's see if I can remove this part a little so I can put this one underneath. I put it a little lower because it has to go over this thing. I don't know how it's called in English. And then we have another piece. We need another piece. See, now you can see that I did a good repeating pattern. And there's only a little piece that I will cut off. Let's see how much we need. Not that much. So this is it. It's not dry yet, so I have to let it dry until tomorrow. And then I will add a little label that I've made in a dark green, and I will add it with, well, just simple rope. So it will be a perfect gift for her. I think I will put it here or maybe on the back because that's more quiet. I don't want too many things in it. So that's going to dry, and let's move on to the next project. The other art journal that I've shown you is already completed, so I won't add it in that book. But I have a new one, and this is a collaboration with Angela Smith. And we created this book together, so I work in it, and when I've done a couple of pages, I send it to her, and the other way around. So she has her own book, she sends it to me when she's ready, and well, we work in each other's books. And sometimes I don't even know in which book I am working. I was just looking for some pages which would be interesting for adding some patterns, because these are exactly the colors that I love to use for it. And so you can already see what I am doing here. And actually there is already a pattern in it. And I think it's also in this one, or it's in another one. So this could be a page where I could simply add something. This page I just wanted to show you because I added patterns here. And this is in a very straight way, which I don't often use for mixed media. I do it with gift paper. but I thought this was matching the style and the colors so much that I just wanted to put it in. And it was especially because I wanted this part of the illustration in the book. So you can already see that my art journal is a mix of figurative and abstract art and decoration, and this is actually a part that Angela has done. So it's a mix of things, and I really love that. But I won't add any pattern to this one because it's already full. This was for me a perfect page to show you that I already added some patterns, the dark green ones, but because of all the crafty paper, this is something that Angela has added as well, and this is something that she drawn, and I added the wind flag, the Tibetan wind flag, and I added the flowers. So this is already a very good page, but I could add a little piece to it just to make it extra complete, and I think this color is perfectly matching to this. So I keep that in mind. This is the final page that I want to show you because I think this is really the page I'm going to be working on today, because these are the roses from my garden, and in this part is exactly the same kind of pink, and I am searching for connections. So every time I search for what's here, it must be there as well. Here is already craft paper, there is already the pink, and here, look what I have here. It's exactly that pink and it's exactly that green. So it's great that it's coming back. So this is something that I definitely want to use for this page. As I said, in journaling, I often work with tearing pieces, and here is already teared, and I want to keep something. I don't know for what, but I just feel like I want to keep something of this pattern. And the way you tear it makes that you see or don't see the edge of the paper. So now the upper part is having no rests of the paper, but here underneath you can see clearly that it's you see a part of the paper, and it's just depending on the use that you wanted to have it for. Well, I think it's great to use it here, but I could also choose for the other. No, I choose for this piece, and I carefully tear the other side of it. So it's an organic piece. We probably lose something from what's underneath, but I really don't mind. This is okay. I really want the piece to fall together with the page. And I find it very important that the glue is on the upper side and that that it really falls together. Not everyone is approaching it in the same way. Some people like it when pieces are loosely pasted on the page or are having that the glue only is underneath, but I really love it to put it together as one piece of, I can simply go over it. Already this part, I don't like it, so I will glue it down because I don't like when things are loose. I don't like that. In some cases I like it, but in this case everything is flat, so I want it to be flat. So that's why I'm putting glue all over the place. But there's a risk in that. if I close this book for now, or I'm deciding to work on another page, I really have to put something between it before I can work with it. So that's something I have to keep in mind. For now, I stay a little longer on this page because what I add here, I want to add a little part here as well. I don't know where, and it has to be a very small piece because I think it's disturbing when I put too much on this lovely bees that Angela has made. So let's see what I can do. So I decided not to work on the right side of the sheet because I added all these papers and I found it was too much. And it is already so beautiful, and this piece is adding something. And well, maybe later on I will make something transparent that you still see the bees. But for now, I think this is perfectly matching. Let's see if I can do something on another page, but then I have to put something here, maybe a Copic marker, something that I'm not using today, so that the pages won't stick together. This page is already filled, but I can see that I can add something more to it. So what I'm going to do is, this piece is not long enough. I wanted to have a strip from the top to here below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear it in two. And I don't have to do it exactly straight. I could do it like this, that it falls away a little. And I will leave the top of it, I leave it straight, because this will go on the top of the page. And this piece, this part, I'm going to so it could be like this, and then I repeat it here. And it won't be enough, but I will make a suggestion that it will go through by cutting it off or tearing it off diagonally. So I will show you what I mean. This ends here at the green line. So I will make this end in the same way here. So I could do it like this, but I feel like this is a better way to do it. So I put it here, and then it's coming back here. And I could even decide to have a small piece on this page as well, but I think this page is already good enough. There is something still that I want to do on this page, but I will show you later on. Let's first glue these elements. So, yep, we have another page. So like this. And what I see here is that this part is pink or reddish pink. What I want to do is add a pattern, a small pattern with my darkest twin marker that I used. So in order to create a cohesive sheet, I really find it important. So I will do something that I haven't done in this page, like for example stripes, small stripes. And it's actually this thing on which I am drawing right now. It's a tea box. So in these art journals we are using so many recycled items, often waste items. So a package of soap, the how do you call that? The bag of the risotto. And here Angela has used a tea box. And I found it was a bit white, so I added the pink on it. And of course the Tibetan wind flags, which were hanging in my garden for I think over 10 years, and then they turned grey, and I thought like, oh, I don't want to hang them in my garden because they lost all their color. So I really love them on this page. So to me, this page is very, very, very busy, but still it is a whole. This is a cohesive thing. So I really love this page. So now we've got an idea how I put my patterns into my art journal, and I'm looking forward to go on with this because I feel really inspired to use the other ones as well. I hope you're looking forward to it too, to start with your own patterns, or maybe you already created some and now you have an idea what you're going to do with it. I just wanted to say that if you want to go on and, well, this class wasn't enough for you, that I have to offer some other classes in which you incorporate patterns into your work. And now we only worked with paper and, well, a bit of gel medium, but we used no other things. But if you go to the class pattern playing, you will use acrylics and you will learn how to create a perfect background, how to work with composition, and how to incorporate your pattern papers into a painting. You see, we already worked on a background because of the craft paper already has got a color, but in pattern playing we have colored backgrounds, so you also learn how to create those colored backgrounds on your paper. You actually make 2 canvases of 30 by 30 centimeters, so you have a series of 2, or maybe you want to have 3 or 4 or 5 or 11. So that's a great course which you can follow after this one. And another one is, of course, the one that I've already shown you, the angel class. And in the angel class you are going to paint on a wooden panel. Again, you're starting with the background, and then you are putting together pieces of a dress that you created with pattern paper. And after that, well, you bring the face of the angel to life and you create, well, maybe you want to create some patterns in the background as well. You see, well, you work towards a great angel that really, well, stands for you at the moment, or gives you the energy that you need at that particular moment. So those are 2 great courses. There's another mixed media class that's called Fantasy Flowers, and in that course you work not that much with patterns, you could add them, but you work with organic shapes like flowers. So that's also a very interesting class. That's fantasy flowers. And I am working at the moment on a new class, and that's called botanical patterns. So if you really want to do something more with plants or flowers combined with patterns, maybe that will be a class for you. You could see all my classes on my website. Please let me know what you think about this course. You could post your results in the comments below, or you can send me an email if you have any further questions. I hope you really enjoyed this class, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye!